Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by saying this. Nothing destroys a man or woman faster than misplaced trust. Nothing cuts deeper than betrayal. Many of us have been taught that forgiveness is unlimited, that no matter what someone does, we must open our hearts and let them back in. But wisdom teaches us that while forgiveness is necessary for our own peace, restoration is a different thing entirely. There are betrayals so deep, so destructive, that they must never be tolerated. Today I will share with you 3 betrayals in relationships that you should never, ever forgive. Not because you are bitter, but because you are wise. Let's get into it. Betrayal or once in disloyalty in moments of crisis. You don't know who truly loves you until life knocks you down. The easiest time to say is when everything is good. But the true test of love is loyalty in crisis. A real friend, a real partner, a real loved one will stand by your side when the storm comes. But some people, the moment trouble arrives, they disappear. They turn their backs, they abandon you, they act as if they never knew you. Listen to me carefully. If someone walks away from you in your lowest moment, do not welcome them back when you rise again. Because if they left you once, they will leave you again. Loyalty is not proven in comfort. Loyalty is proven in crisis. Betrayal leads to intentional deception. Lies destroy relationships faster than anything else. A lie is not a mistake. A lie is a decision. When someone lies to you, they are saying, "You are not worthy of the truth. I choose my comfort over your trust. I would rather manipulate you than honor you." And here is the danger. If someone lies to you once, they will lie again. A person who is comfortable deceiving you has already decided that your trust is not valuable to them. Do not excuse a liar. Do not make room for deception. Because once truth is broken, everything else crumbles with it. Betrayal, any 3, repeated disrespect. Respect is the foundation of every healthy relationship. And let me tell you something. A person who does not respect you does not love you. Disrespect comes in many forms. Insults, neglect, dismissiveness, public humiliation. But no matter how it comes, it does one thing. It tells you that the person does not value you. The first time someone disrespects you, it may be a mistake. The second time, it is a decision. The third time, it is who they are. And if someone disrespects you repeatedly, they are telling you loud and clear, "I do not value you enough to treat you with honor." So hear me today. Never tolerate repeated disrespect. The more you tolerate it, the more it will grow. Conclusion, choose wisdom over emotion now. Some of you might be thinking, "But I love them. But we have history. But what if they change?" Let me tell you the truth, love without wisdom is dangerous. History does not erase betrayal. And change only happens when a person wants it, not when you force it. Ladies and gentlemen, forgiveness is for your peace. But trust must be protected. And when someone betrays you in these 3 ways, never restore them to the place they once had in your life. Choose wisdom. Choose peace. And most of all, choose yourself. 7 key takeaways. Loyalty is proven in crisis, not in comfort. Loyalty is not tested when the sun is shining. It is tested when the storm rages. Anyone can walk with you when the road is smooth, but only the real ones will stay when the ground cracks beneath your feet. In life, you will face moments when everything falls apart. Loss, failure, setbacks, betrayals. And in those moments, you will look around and realize that not everyone who called you friend was truly for you. Some people only loved what you could do for them. Some only stayed because it was convenient. But the moment things got tough, they vanished. A loyal person does not need an easy road to stay by your side. They do not need perfect conditions to remain committed. They do not disappear when the fire gets hot. They walk through it with you. But here's what you must understand. If someone left you when you needed them the most, do not take them back when things get better. A person who abandoned you in the valley does not deserve to celebrate with you on the mountaintop. People reveal their true character when you have nothing to offer them. Pay attention to who stays when life is at its hardest. That is the only real test of loyalty. If someone abandons you in hard times, do not trust them in good times. Too many people make the mistake of welcoming back those who left them at their lowest. They allow people to return, thinking that maybe they have changed, maybe they have learned their lesson. But let me tell you a hard truth. Most people do not change. They just wait for another opportunity. The same person who walked away when you were struggling will do it again. They have already shown you who they are. The first time, it was their choice. The second time, it will be yours. Imagine you were drowning, struggling to keep your head above water, and the person who claimed to love you stood on the shore and watched. They did not jump in. They did not throw a rope. They did not even call for help. They just watched you struggle. And then when you somehow saved yourself, they came back, smiling, acting as if nothing had happened. Would you trust them again? Would you risk your life in their hands? Of course not. So why do we do it in relationships? Why do we take back people who have proven that when we need them most, they will not be there? A lie is a choice, not a mistake. When someone lies to you, they are making a decision. They are choosing to mislead you. They are choosing to break your trust. And the biggest mistake people make is thinking that one lie is just a small thing. No, a single lie is a crack in the foundation. And once the foundation is cracked, the entire structure is compromised. When a person lies to you, they are not just breaking your trust, they are showing you their character. A lie is never just words. It is a statement about who they are. And let me tell you something about liars, they do not stop. If someone can look you in the eye and deceive you once, they will do it again. The question is not, will they lie again? The question is, when will they lie again? A trust is like glass. When it breaks, you can try to put it back together, but the cracks will always remain. And the next time, it will shatter even faster. You must decide if you want to spend your life patching up broken glass, or if you will walk away and find something unbroken. Respect is the foundation of love. Without it, nothing lasts. A person who does not respect you cannot love you. Love without respect is just manipulation. It is someone using you for their own benefit. And the sad truth is, most people do not recognize disrespect until it has become a habit. Disrespect starts small. It starts with a joke at your expense, a dismissive comment, ignoring your feelings, and if you allow it, it grows. What begins as a small act of disregard turns into full-blown humiliation. The first time someone disrespects you, it may be a mistake. The second time, it is a choice. The third time, it is who they are. And here is the most dangerous part: disrespect does not always come in loud, obvious ways. Sometimes it is quiet. Sometimes it is the way they ignore you. The way they make you feel like your opinions do not matter. The way they always prioritize themselves over you. The way they never truly listen when you speak. If someone repeatedly disrespects you, believe them. Believe their actions, not their excuses. Think about it. Would you stay in a house where the roof keeps leaking, even after you have tried to fix it again and again? At some point, you must accept that the house is not safe to live in. It is time to move on. The same is true for relationships. When someone keeps showing you that they do not value you, you do not have to keep proving your worth to them. You do not have to beg for respect. The moment you have to convince someone to honor you, you have already lost. Forgiveness is for your peace, but trust must be earned. Too many people confuse forgiveness with access. You can forgive someone and still keep them at a distance. You can release the pain they caused you without restoring them to the position they once held in your life. Forgiveness is for you, but trust must be built. It must be proven. It must be deserved. History does not erase betrayal. Patterns reveal true character. Just because you have known someone for years does not mean they deserve to stay in your life. Time does not change people, choices do. And if someone has shown you a pattern of betrayal, you must believe it. People can promise to change. They can say all the right words. But the only thing that matters is action. People do not change unless they truly want to, not because you wish for it. You cannot love someone into being better. You cannot fix them. You cannot pour enough of yourself into them to make them whole. Change is an internal decision. And if they do not see a problem with their behavior, they will not fix it. Choosing yourself is not selfishness, it is wisdom. You have one life, one heart, one soul. And if you spend it tolerating betrayal, lies, and disrespect, you will wake up one day and realize that you have spent your entire life pouring into people who only drained you. You deserve love that does not require suffering first. You deserve trust that does not have to be questioned. You deserve respect that does not have to be earned over and over again. Never let anyone convince you otherwise. If someone abandons you in hard times, do not trust them in good times. You don't truly know who someone is until life tests them. When everything is smooth, when the sun is shining, when the money is flowing, and when life is easy, anyone can stand by your side. Anyone can say, "I will always be here for you." But words are cheap, and loyalty is not tested in comfort. Loyalty is tested in crisis. Think about the people who have surrounded you in your best moments. Those who laughed with you, celebrated you, and called you their closest friend, their deepest love. But then life changed. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe you went through a difficult breakup. Maybe you fell sick. Maybe you were at your lowest, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And you looked around expecting the same people to be there. But suddenly they were nowhere to be found. Their calls stopped. Their messages became rare. And when you reached out, all you got was excuses. Where were they? Where were the people who swore they would never leave? The hard truth is that some people only walk with you when it benefits them. Some people are only loyal when it's easy. But the moment you require real commitment, real sacrifice, they disappear. They abandon you when you need them the most. And yet, the moment you rise again, they return, acting as if nothing happened. You need to understand this. The person who left you in the storm does not deserve to enjoy the sunshine with you. The one who abandoned you when you had nothing has no right to return when you have everything. The moment you welcome them back, you are teaching them that it's okay to walk away whenever life gets tough. You are showing them that they can betray you and still have a place in your life. Imagine a soldier in battle. He stands with his team, fully armed, ready to fight. But as soon as the enemy attacks, he drops his weapon and runs, leaving his brothers behind. The battle is won without him, and when the victory celebration begins, he comes back smiling, wanting to be part of the honor. Would you trust him again? Would you ever stand next to him in another battle? Never, because the moment danger came, he showed you his true nature. Life is the same way. When hardships come, they reveal who is real and who is fake. They separate those who are committed from those who are conditional. They expose the difference between a companion and a convenience. And once someone shows you who they are in your weakest moment, believe them. Now, some people will come back with apologies. They will tell you, "I didn't know what to do. I was going through my own problems. I wanted to be there, but I just couldn't." And while forgiveness is a gift you should always give, trust is something that must be earned. Trust is like a bridge. Once it has collapsed, you can rebuild it. But would you ever walk across it the same way again? Would you risk falling twice? Some bridges are meant to stay broken. Some relationships are meant to be left in the past. Many people make the mistake of thinking that history means loyalty. That just because you have known someone for years, they must be real. But let me tell you something, time does not prove loyalty, actions do. Someone who has been in your life for a decade can betray you faster than someone you met last year. Loyalty is not about how long you've known someone. It's about how they treat you when you need them the most. Look around your life. Think about the people you consider close. Ask yourself, if I lost everything today, who would still be here tomorrow? If someone has already left you once in your time of need, don't fool yourself into thinking they will stand by you in the future. The first time was a test. The second time will be a choice. And you hold the power to decide whether you will let history repeat itself. Think about a tree. When the weather is perfect, every leaf is still. Every branch looks strong. But when the storm comes, the weak branches break. The dead leaves fall. And only what is strong remains. Life is no different. The storms of life are not there to destroy you. They are there to reveal who is truly meant to stand with you. Too many people have surrounded themselves with weak branches. They have trusted people who do not deserve their trust. They have invested in relationships that cannot withstand the storm. And when the wind blows, they are left alone, wondering what went wrong. But the truth is, nothing went wrong. The storm simply did its job. It exposed the truth. You must learn to let people go when they show you they are not meant to stay. Do not chase after those who ran when you needed them. Do not beg for loyalty. Do not lower your standards just to keep someone in your life. Real relationships are not built on begging. They are built on mutual commitment. There is a difference between those who love the idea of you and those who truly love you. The ones who love the idea of you will leave when things get tough. The ones who truly love you will stand beside you even when everything falls apart. Some of you are holding on to people who have already abandoned you in their hearts. You are making space for people who have already shown you that they are not willing to fight for you. And every time you let them back in, you teach them that their absence does not have consequences. If you keep letting people walk in and out of your life without accountability, you will never find the ones who are meant to stay. You will spend your life rebuilding trust with people who never deserved it in the first place. And in doing so, you will miss out on the relationships that are actually worth your time. There is nothing more powerful than learning to walk away from those who have already walked away from you. There is no greater wisdom than knowing when to close a door that should never be opened again. If someone left you when you were drowning, do not let them celebrate with you when you learn how to swim. If they could not stand by you when you were at your lowest, they do not deserve a seat at your highest. If they abandoned you in the valley, they have no place on your mountain. A lie is a choice, not a mistake. A lie is a choice, not a mistake. When someone lies to you, they are not simply making an error in judgment. They are making a conscious decision to deceive you. A mistake happens by accident. A lie, however, requires thought, calculation, and intent. It is not something that just slips out. It is a deliberate act, a betrayal wrapped in words, designed to mislead you, control you, or protect themselves at your expense. The biggest mistake people make is underestimating the power of a lie. They think, oh, it was just a small lie. It doesn't really matter. But what they fail to understand is that deception is like a crack in a foundation. At first, it might seem insignificant, just a hairline fracture that can be ignored. But over time, as more weight is placed upon it, that small crack expands, deepens, and eventually shatters the entire structure. Lies do the same thing. Trust is the foundation of every relationship, whether it's romantic, friendship, family, or business. And once trust is broken, nothing feels the same again. The moment you realize that someone has lied to you, something shifts. Even if you forgive them, even if you try to move on, there will always be a voice in the back of your mind whispering, "Can I believe them this time?" Every word they say will now come with doubt. Every promise will feel uncertain, and every assurance will require proof. Imagine you have a glass of water. Pure, clean, refreshing. But now, imagine someone drops just one tiny drop of poison into it. Just one. Would you still drink it? Would you tell yourself, it's just a small drop? The rest of the water is still clean? Of course not. Because you know that even the smallest drop of poison contaminates the whole thing. Lies work the same way. Even one lie pollutes the trust in a relationship. It changes the entire dynamic. A person who lies once will lie again. It is only a matter of time. Some people believe that if someone apologizes after lying, it means they won't do it again. But the truth is, an apology does not erase the choice they made. It does not remove the fact that they were capable of looking you in the eye and deceiving you. And if they did it once, what's stopping them from doing it again? Liars don't stop lying because you forgive them. They stop lying when it no longer benefits them. They stop lying when they are forced to face consequences. Some people will lie even when the truth would have saved them, simply because deception has become second nature to them. Think about a child who steals a cookie from the jar and lies about it. If the parent simply says, "I forgive you," and does nothing else, what will the child learn? That there are no real consequences for lying, that they can do it again and get away with it. But if the parent holds them accountable, if they explain that lying destroys trust and has consequences, then the child learns a valuable lesson. The same is true for adults. If you continue to forgive and overlook lies without consequences, you are teaching the liar that their deception has no price. Some people would tell you, it was just a small lie. It wasn't a big deal. But let me tell you something, there is no such thing as a small lie. A lie is a lie. It is an attempt to manipulate reality, to control information, to shift perception. And once someone is comfortable deceiving you in small things, it won't be long before they start deceiving you in bigger things. Think about it. If you were climbing a mountain and you noticed a small crack in your rope, would you ignore it? Would you tell yourself, it's just a tiny cut, it won't break? No, because you know that even the smallest flaw can cost you your life. Lies are the same way. They start small, almost invisible. But before you know it, they've grown into something that can completely destroy the foundation of trust. There is another danger to lies that most people don't talk about. Lies don't just break trust. They create an alternate reality. They force you to live in a world that is not real. When someone lies to you, they are feeding you false information. They are shaping your perception of reality based on something that is not true. And the more you believe those lies, the further you get from what is actually real. Imagine being in a relationship where your partner constantly tells you, "I love you, I would never hurt you," while secretly betraying you behind your back. You believe their words, so you ignore the warning signs. You trust their actions, so you dismiss your intuition. You live in a world where their love seems real, until the truth is finally exposed. And then you feel like a fool. You feel like you wasted time, energy, and emotions on something that never truly existed. This is what lies do. They rob you of reality. They steal your ability to make informed decisions. They make you invest in something that isn't even real. And here is the worst part, liars never think about the damage they cause. They never think about the emotional destruction they leave behind. For them, a lie is just a way to escape accountability, to avoid consequences, or to get what they want. But for the person who was lied to, it is a deep wound. It is betrayal. It is a loss of security. So many people struggle to heal from relationships where they were constantly lied to. They develop trust issues. They start questioning everyone around them. They become suspicious, guarded, hesitant to open up. Because once you have been deceived by someone you love, you realize how easy it is for people to pretend. You realize that words mean nothing without action. You realize that love, loyalty, and honesty are not always given in return. There are some betrayals that can be forgiven, but trust should never be given back freely once it has been broken. The only way to truly see if a person has changed is through time and consistency. A liar will always reveal themselves again if you give them enough time. Watch their actions, not their words. You cannot build a future with someone who is comfortable lying to you. You cannot have a strong relationship with someone who has no problem manipulating the truth. You cannot live a peaceful life with someone who forces you to question everything they say. A lie is not just a betrayal of trust, it is a declaration of disrespect. Because if they respected you, they would honor you with the truth, even when it is difficult. If someone can look you in the eye and deceive you once, they have already proven that your trust is not valuable to them. The real question is, do you value yourself enough to walk away from those who have shown you they cannot be trusted? A person who lies once will lie again. A person who lies once will lie again. It is only a matter of time. You might want to believe that it was just a one-time mistake, a slip of the tongue, a moment of weakness. But let me tell you something, deception is not accidental. A lie is a conscious choice, a decision to manipulate reality for personal gain. The moment someone tells a lie, they reveal not just their words, but their character. Think about it. Why do people lie? Some lie to escape consequences. Some lie to protect themselves. Some lie to gain an advantage. But no matter the reason, the root of every lie is the same: selfishness. A person who lies is prioritizing their own comfort, their own interests, over truth, over integrity, and over you. And once a person realizes that lying benefits them, why would they ever stop? Have you ever seen a child who gets away with stealing candy? The first time they do it with hesitation, unsure if they will get caught. But when they realize no one is watching, they do it again and again, until stealing becomes normal to them. Lying works the same way. The first time someone lies, they test the waters. If they get away with it, if there are no real consequences, if you continue to trust them despite it, they become comfortable. And before you know it, you are trapped in a relationship with someone who no longer sees honesty as a necessity, but as an option. The greatest danger of a liar is not the lie itself. It is the illusion of truth. A liar does not just deceive you once. They make you question your own reality. They make you believe in a world that does not exist. And once you trust a liar, you become blind to the truth. Imagine you are walking through a dark forest with a guide who claims to know the way. Every turn they take, you follow, trusting their direction. But what if that guide is lost? What if they have no idea where they are going? What if they are leading you deeper into danger, but they continue to pretend they know the way? This is what a liar does. They speak with confidence. They act with certainty. And they make you believe that what they say is real. Until one day, you wake up and realize you have been lost all along. This is why a person who lies once will lie again. Because the first lie is only the beginning. A liar must continue to lie to protect the original deception. One falsehood leads to another. And before long, their entire reality is built on a foundation of dishonesty. They can no longer stop, because to tell the truth would mean exposing every other lie they have ever told. And here is the most painful part: liars do not just betray your trust. They betray your ability to trust yourself. They make you question your own judgment. You start doubting your instincts, your perceptions, your gut feelings. You remember moments when something felt off, but they convinced you otherwise. You recall times when your heart whispered, something is not right, but their words were louder, and you ignored the warning signs. And when the truth finally comes out, you are left not just angry at them, but angry at yourself for believing them in the first place. How many people have stayed in toxic relationships because they believed the lies? How many people have wasted years of their lives hoping for change that never came? How many people have ignored red flags, giving chance after chance, only to end up heartbroken in the end? This is what a liar does. They don't just break your trust. They steal your time. Trust is the currency of all relationships. It is what allows you to feel safe with someone, to open up, to build something real. But once trust is broken, everything changes. Even if you try to move forward, even if you try to forgive, there will always be a shadow of doubt. Every word they say will now require proof. Every promise will feel empty. Every assurance will need validation. And a relationship without trust is like a house built on sand. It may stand for a while, but eventually it will collapse. Some people believe in second chances. They think maybe this time will be different. But let me tell you something. Past behavior is the greatest predictor of future behavior. If someone has lied once and they face no real consequences, what is stopping them from doing it again? If someone has shown you that they are comfortable deceiving you, why would you gamble with your peace of mind? Imagine you are driving on a road and you come across a bridge with a sign that says, "Weak structure may collapse." Would you take the risk and drive across, hoping it holds? Or would you turn back, knowing that no destination is worth losing your life over? A liar is that weak bridge. They may look stable. They may promise that they have changed, but the structure has already been compromised. And one day, when you least expect it, it will collapse again. Some of you have been giving endless chances to people who have already proven they cannot be trusted. Some of you have been making excuses for those who continue to deceive you. Some of you have been hoping, praying, believing that one day they will finally tell the truth. But let me ask you this. How many more lies will it take before you realize that this is who they are? How many more betrayals will you endure before you understand that some people will never change? A liar does not stop lying because you forgive them. A liar stops lying when they no longer have the opportunity to deceive. You cannot teach integrity to someone who does not value honesty. You cannot force loyalty from someone who sees betrayal as an option. And you cannot build a future with someone whose words mean nothing. If someone has lied to you once, believe them the first time. Not the lie, but the fact that they are capable of deception. Do not wait for the second, third, or fourth betrayal to realize what was already clear from the start. Because the greatest mistake you can make is ignoring the truth, simply because you do not want to face it. And the greatest power you can have is the courage to walk away from those who have already shown you who they really are. Respect is the foundation of love. Without it, nothing lasts. Respect is the foundation of love. Without it, nothing lasts. Love is often spoken of as the most powerful force in the world. But let me tell you something. Love alone is not enough. You can love someone with all your heart, but if respect is missing, that love will eventually turn into pain. It will turn into resentment. It will turn into a battle where one person is constantly fighting to be heard, to be valued, to be treated right. Respect is what gives love its strength. It is the soil in which love grows. Without respect, love is nothing more than an illusion. It may look real on the surface, but underneath, it is weak. It is fragile. It is temporary. And the moment a storm comes, it will collapse. Think about it. Have you ever seen a beautiful flower growing in poor soil? It may bloom for a while, but eventually it will wither. It will die because the roots have nothing to hold on to. That is what happens in a relationship without respect. The love may feel strong at first, but over time, the lack of respect will kill it from the inside. A person who truly loves you will never make you feel small. They will never belittle you, ignore your feelings, or make you feel like your voice does not matter. They will never treat you as if your emotions are insignificant. Because respect is not about words, it is about actions. You can say, "I love you," 100 times a day. But if your actions show disregard, if your tone carries disrespect, if your behavior makes the other person feel unimportant, then those words are empty. Respect is not something that is demanded. It is something that is given willingly. It is not based on fear. It is based on value. When someone respects you, they see you as their equal. They consider your thoughts, your feelings, and your needs. They do not see you as an object to control or a possession to own. They see you as a partner, as someone who deserves kindness, care, and consideration. Have you ever been in a relationship where your opinions were dismissed, where your feelings were treated as overreactions, where your presence was taken for granted? That is what a lack of respect looks like. And if you stay in a place where you are not respected, you will start to forget your own worth. You will start to believe that being unheard is normal, that being disregarded is acceptable, that being treated as less than is just part of love. But let me remind you, true love does not strip you of your dignity. It does not make you question your value. It does not force you to shrink yourself to fit into someone else's world. Some people stay in disrespectful relationships because they think, but they love me. But what is love without respect? What is love if it makes you feel unworthy? What is love if it forces you to endure pain in silence? Love without respect is not love. It is control, it is manipulation, it is emotional imprisonment. Respect the difference between a relationship that lasts and one that crumbles. A person who respects you will listen to you when you speak, not just wait for their turn to talk. They will acknowledge your feelings, not dismiss them. They will stand beside you, not above you. They will make you feel seen, heard, and valued. Because love is not about power. It is not about one person always winning, always being right, always having the final say. Love is about partnership. It is about walking together, side by side, with mutual care and admiration. If someone constantly disrespects you, whether through their words, their actions, or their indifference, you have to ask yourself, is this truly love? Because love does not make you feel invisible. It does not make you feel unimportant. It does not make you question your own worth. The way a person speaks to you when they are angry, the way they treat you when no one is watching, the way they react when you express your pain, these things reveal whether they truly respect you or not. Think about it like this. If you had a priceless diamond, would you throw it around carelessly? Would you leave it in the dirt exposed to damage? No. You would protect it. You would handle it with care. You would recognize its value. That is how respect works. When someone truly values you, they handle you with care. They do not throw words like knives. They do not ignore your needs. They do not make you feel like an afterthought. One of the most dangerous things you can do is stay in a relationship where respect does not exist, because over time, it will break you. It will strip away your confidence. It will make you feel like you are asking for too much when all you ever wanted was to be treated with basic dignity. And the longer you tolerate disrespect, the harder it becomes to walk away. Some people believe that if they just love harder, if they just prove their worth, if they just keep giving, eventually the other person will respect them. But let me tell you, respect is not something you beg for. It is not something you earn by enduring mistreatment. It is something that should be there from the start. And if it is missing, no amount of love will ever create it. Pay attention to how people treat you when they have nothing to gain. Pay attention to how they speak to you when they are upset. Pay attention to how they react when you set boundaries. Because respect is not just about being kind when everything is easy. It is about being considerate, even when things are difficult. You deserve to be in a relationship where you are valued, where your voice matters, where your presence is cherished. You deserve to be with someone who looks at you with admiration, who listens to you with intent, who treats you with kindness, not just in the good times, but always. Because love without respect is a prison. It is a slow erosion of self-worth. And no matter how much you try to convince yourself otherwise, no matter how much history you have with that person, no matter how much love you feel, without respect, that relationship will never bring you peace. Repeated disrespect is a sign of devaluation. Do not tolerate it. When someone disrespects you once, it might be an accident. When they do it twice, it might be carelessness. But when disrespect becomes a pattern, it is no longer a mistake. It is a message. It is a message that they do not value you the way they should, that they see your presence as ordinary, your kindness as expected, and your tolerance as permission. And the moment you start allowing repeated disrespect, you start teaching them that you will accept less than what you deserve. Respect is not just about words, it is about treatment. It is about the way someone looks at you, the way they speak to you, the way they acknowledge your presence, your efforts, your emotions. It is about how they treat you in private, not just in public. It is about whether they listen when you speak, whether they take your concerns seriously, whether they act as though your time and energy matter. Have you ever been in a conversation where you felt invisible, where you spoke, but your words carried no weight, where your emotions were dismissed as an overreaction? That is what devaluation looks like. It is subtle at first, small comments, a joke at your expense, an eye roll when you express frustration. But over time it escalates. The more you accept, the further they push the boundary. And before you know it, you are standing in a relationship where you are no longer seen as an equal, where your opinions are optional, where your presence is not cherished, but tolerated. Think about it. Would you continue to visit a store where the staff constantly ignored you? Would you spend your hard-earned money in a place where your existence was an afterthought? No. You would leave. Because you know your value. You know that your time, your energy, your presence are not things to be taken for granted. So why do so many people stay in relationships where they are treated as less than they deserve? Because disrespect does not always come as an attack. It comes disguised as familiarity. It comes as jokes that cut deep, as words spoken carelessly, as silence when you need support the most. It comes as forgetting the things that matter to you, as making decisions without considering your feelings, as treating you like an option instead of a priority. And the longer you tolerate it, the more normal it becomes, until one day you look in the mirror and realize you have become smaller. Not because you wanted to, but because you adjusted to fit into someone else's version of love. A person who truly values you will never make you feel like you have to fight for their respect. They will never put you in a position where you have to beg to be heard, to be considered, to be treated with care. They will honor your presence not because you demand it, but because they recognize your worth. But let me tell you this. Respect is not something you can negotiate. You cannot convince someone to see your value if they have already chosen to ignore it. You cannot make someone appreciate you by continuing to give, to prove, to endure. Respect is either there or it is not. And the moment you have to start teaching someone how to treat you, you have already lost. Some people stay in relationships where they are constantly disrespected because they believe that love can fix it. That if they are patient enough, if they forgive enough, if they show enough understanding, the other person will change. But let me tell you the truth. Love does not erase disrespect. It does not heal what someone is unwilling to fix. It does not make a person suddenly realize your worth if they have already chosen to devalue you. Imagine you have a priceless painting, a masterpiece. If you hand it to someone who does not understand art, they might leave it in the rain, use it as a table mat, or throw it into a corner. Not because it is not valuable, but because they do not have the eyes to see its worth. And no matter how much you try to explain its significance, no matter how much history it holds, no matter how much love you pour into describing its beauty, they will never appreciate it the way it deserves to be appreciated. Because respect is not taught, it is recognized. Some of you have been tolerating disrespect in the name of love. Some of you have been shrinking yourselves to fit into relationships where you are not valued. Some of you have been allowing repeated devaluation because you are afraid of being alone. But let me ask you this. What is lonelier than being in a relationship where you are not seen? What is more painful than loving someone who does not honor your presence? You deserve more. You deserve to be spoken to with kindness, to be treated with care, to be acknowledged as an equal. You deserve to be in a relationship where your feelings are not dismissed but understood, where your voice is not silenced but valued, where your presence is not taken for granted but cherished. And the moment you realize that, the moment you refuse to accept anything less, you take back your power. Because the truth is, people treat you based on what you tolerate. And if you continue to allow repeated disrespect, you are teaching them that it is okay, that you will stay, that your boundaries do not matter. But the moment you walk away, the moment you refuse to engage in a relationship where you are not honored, you set a new standard. You make it clear that your presence is not a privilege to be abused, but a gift to be treasured. You remind the world and yourself that you are worth more than half-hearted love, more than careless words, more than repeated betrayals disguised as mistakes. Never tolerate repeated disrespect. Because the longer you accept it, the more it erodes your self-worth. And the moment you start questioning your own value, you have already lost the battle. Choosing yourself is not selfishness, it is wisdom. For too long, people have been conditioned to believe that prioritizing themselves is an act of arrogance, that setting boundaries is an act of defiance, that walking away from toxic situations is an act of betrayal. But let me tell you the truth. Choosing yourself is not a crime. It is not a weakness. It is not a sin. It is survival. It is self-respect. It is the foundation upon which every great life is built. The world will tell you to give endlessly, to sacrifice tirelessly, to put others first at all costs. But what happens when you keep giving to people who only take? What happens when you keep pouring into relationships that drain you, that suffocate you, that diminish you? What happens when you spend so much time making others happy that you forget what happiness feels like for yourself? Imagine a candle burning in the darkness. It gives light to everyone around it, but with each flicker, it melts away, becoming smaller and smaller until there is nothing left. That is what happens when you constantly choose others over yourself. You become a shell of who you used to be, an exhausted version of yourself, running on empty, hoping that one day someone will finally give back what you have given so freely. But the truth is, people do not appreciate what is always available. They do not value what requires no effort. And they do not respect someone who does not respect themselves. You see, choosing yourself does not mean neglecting others. It does not mean becoming cold or selfish. It means recognizing that your well-being matters just as much as anyone else's. It means refusing to stay in spaces that make you question your worth. It means understanding that you are not responsible for fixing people who do not want to be fixed, for carrying burdens that are not yours to bear, for setting yourself on fire just to keep others warm. Some of you have been stuck in relationships where your love is one-sided, where your kindness is abused, where your loyalty is taken for granted. Some of you have been staying in friendships where you are the only one making an effort, in families where you are expected to endure mistreatment in the name of duty, in workplaces where your worth is overlooked, and every day you tell yourself that it is okay, that it will get better, that if you just give a little more, things will change. But deep down, you know the truth. Some people will never appreciate you, no matter how much you give. So what do? You choose yourself. You stop waiting for people to recognize your value and start acting like you know it. You stop begging for love and start giving it to yourself. You stop hoping that people will change and start making the changes that will set you free. Think about a garden. If you plant flowers in toxic soil, no matter how much you water them, they will never thrive. But if you uproot them, if you move them to a place where they can receive sunlight, where they can be nurtured, they will bloom into something extraordinary. You are no different. The environment you place yourself in determines your growth. The people you surround yourself with either nourish you or destroy you. And the longer you stay in places that drain you, the harder it becomes to bloom into the person you were meant to be. Some of you have been afraid to walk away because you think it means giving up. But walking away from what breaks you is not giving up. It is leveling up. It is choosing peace over pain. It is choosing self-respect over approval. It is choosing to stop waiting for someone else to love you the way you should have been loving yourself all along. Do not let guilt keep you in places where you are not valued. Do not let fear convince you to settle for less than you deserve. Do not let history hold you hostage to a future that no longer serves you. You do not owe anyone your suffering. You do not owe anyone your silence. You do not owe anyone a version of yourself that is constantly exhausted, constantly broken, constantly shrinking to fit their expectations. You owe yourself happiness. You owe yourself freedom. You owe yourself the life you have been too afraid to claim. And the moment you realize that, the moment you finally choose yourself, you will discover a power you never knew you had. The power to walk away without looking back. The power to stand alone without feeling lonely. The power to demand more, to expect more, to receive more. Because the world does not give you what you deserve. It gives you what you demand. And the moment you stop accepting less, the moment you stop settling for crumbs, that is the moment your entire life begins to change. There comes a moment in life when you have to make a choice. Not between right and wrong, but between who you are and who you refuse to be anymore. A moment where you stand at the crossroads of your past and your future, and you realize that the weight you have been carrying is not yours to bear, that the chains holding you back were never locked, that the door you thought was closed has been open all along. You just needed the courage to walk through it. You see, life is not about how much pain you can endure. It is not about how long you can tolerate mistreatment, how deep you can bury your feelings, how well you can pretend that everything is fine when your soul is screaming for something more. Life is about rising. It is about growth. It is about stepping into the fullness of who you were created to be without apology, without hesitation, without fear. Too many people live their entire lives seeking validation from those who will never see them, chasing love from people who only know how to take, holding on to relationships that do nothing but drain them. But listen to me. Your worth is not determined by someone else's ability to recognize it. You do not need permission to walk away from what breaks you. You do not need approval to choose yourself. The people who truly value you will never put you in a position where you have to beg for their respect, their love, their loyalty. And the ones who do, they were never meant to stay. Let go of the idea that suffering is a prerequisite for love. Let go of the belief that endurance is a badge of honor when all it does is destroy you. You were not put on this earth to be someone's afterthought, someone's punching bag, someone's backup plan. You were made for more. You were born to stand tall, to take up space, to demand the love and respect that you so freely give to others. Some of you have been walking through fire, waiting for someone to save you. But the truth is, no one is coming. No one is going to hand you the life you deserve. No one is going to fight the battles you keep avoiding. No one is going to love you the way you need to be loved until you first love yourself enough to stop accepting less. This is your life. This is your moment. And you have two choices. Continue carrying the weight of relationships that no longer serve you, or set yourself free. The most powerful thing you will ever do is walk away from what no longer aligns with your soul. And yes, it will be hard. Yes, it will be painful. Yes, there will be nights when you question whether you made the right decision. But listen to me. Pain is temporary. Regret lasts forever. And nothing is more painful than looking back on your life and realizing that you spent years settling for less than you deserved. There is no glory in staying where you are not appreciated. There is no honor in proving your worth to people who refuse to see it. There is no prize for surviving a relationship that is killing you. The only victory is in choosing yourself, in recognizing that you are enough as you are, in understanding that the people who truly love you will never ask you to destroy yourself just to keep them comfortable. So let today be the day you stop waiting. Stop waiting for an apology that will never come. Stop waiting for closure from people who were never capable of giving it. Stop waiting for the perfect moment to choose yourself. The moment is now. The power is yours. The life you want is already waiting. You just have to be brave enough to claim it. Stand up. Take your power back. Walk away from anything that no longer serves you. Because at the end of the day, the greatest betrayal is not what others have done to you. It is what you do to yourself when you continue to accept it.